Yesterday, I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today, I am wise, so I am changing myself. Beautiful words from the wise Rumi. Ahoy there, nautical truth seekers. My name is Captain Aries Ezra, and you have just boarded the illustrious ship Nautical Awakenings, where we don't skim the surface of life. We sail straight into the deep waters of truth. If you watched our last video, we talked about that strange, lingering feeling that something is off in the world, a quiet unease. A sense that modern life looks functional on the outside, but hollow underneath. Today, I want to take that feeling one step further, because what if that sense of being lost isn't a malfunction? What if it's the beginning of something ancient? If you're ready to take on today's sailing expedition steadfast, then take action. Hoist sail and like the video, toss over the mooring lines, and share this video with all your salty spittoons. Be sure to ring the ship's bell so that you're never late for underway. Finally, walk the plank and subscribe to the Nautical Awakenings crew. Without further ado, it is time to get nautical. Here's a truth most people never hear. Feeling disconnected, empty, or unsure of your place in the world is not a personal failure. Psychologically, spiritually, and symbolically, it's often the first stage of awakening. Modern psychology calls this existential anxiety, the discomfort that arises when the stories that once gave us meaning stop working. The career path, the social identity, the routines we were told would make us happy. Suddenly, they all feel thin, hollow, insufficient. When those external structures collapse, the mind doesn't immediately replace them with something better. Instead, it creates a vacuum. That vacuum feels like confusion, boredom, restlessness, a quiet sadness you can't fully explain. But ancient traditions saw this state very differently. In older cultures, this feeling wasn't pathologized or medicated away. It was recognized as a threshold, a moment when the ego's map of reality dissolves, so something deeper can emerge. Carl Jung called this stage the nigredo, the darkening of the psyche before transformation. The old self breaks down so the unconscious can speak. Symbols rise, dreams intensify, questions you once avoided start demanding answers. Spiritually, this phase has gone by many names. The dark night of the soul, the wilderness, the descent, the initiatory void. Esoterically, this is where the real work begins. Ancient mystery schools didn't teach spirituality as comfort or self-care. They taught it as remembrance, a process of stripping away false identities so the individual could remember who they were before. The world told them who to be. In Egypt, initiation required symbolic death. In Greece, the Eleusinian mysteries confronted initiates with darkness before revelation. In shamanic traditions, seekers withdrew from society, fasted, and entered isolation, not to escape reality, but to encounter it more fully, to embrace the emptiness, not to identify with the darkness, but to draw and learn from it. It means to fully integrate oneself. Psychologically, these rituals forced the mind into states where the conscious ego loosened its grip. Spiritually, they created space for the soul to speak. This is why so many people today feel lost without knowing why. We removed the rituals, but the inner process still happens. The psyche hasn't changed, only the culture has. When modern life gives you no symbolic framework for this experience, the mind interprets initiation as illness and transformation as failure. That's where spiritual practice comes in, not as a belief system, but as an advancement of consciousness, a christening as they call it, better known as your Christos, your own holy oil that illuminates your third eye, the pineal gland in your brain. Meditation, for example, isn't about emptying the mind or becoming calm. Symbolically, it's an act of inner navigation. You sit still long enough for the noise of the surface self to fade, allowing deeper currents to rise. Alan Watts once said, "You are the universe experiencing itself. Stop trying to control it and simply allow it to unfold." From a psychological perspective, meditation strengthens meta-awareness, the ability to observe thoughts rather than identify with them. Spiritually, it trains the soul to recognize what is transient and what is eternal. Gratitude isn't just positive thinking either. Esoterically, gratitude is alignment. It tunes perception away from scarcity and toward coherence. What you consistently acknowledge begins to organize your inner world. Silence, too, plays a role most people underestimate. Silence removes distraction, and without distraction, truth surfaces. That's why monks, mystics, and hermits across cultures all valued solitude. Not because people are bad, but because noise drowns out inner knowing. It can be too easy, sometimes, to become influenced from the outer world. They understood that silence oftentimes meant inner serenity, at least over time and practice, that is. These practices aren't meant to add something to your life, they're meant to reveal what's already there. Once that inner alignment begins, purpose doesn't need to be chased. Purpose emerges. Modern society tells us otherwise. We're told to find purpose by achieving something external, a career, a following, a legacy, but ancient wisdom understood purpose as something that flows through you, not something you hunt down. Psychologically, purpose forms when your values, actions, and inner sense of meaning align. Spiritually, purpose is service, not necessarily in a religious sense, but in right relationship with the world. Symbolically, purpose is the point where the inner world meets the outer one. You don't need to save the world. You don't need to be enlightened. You don't need to have everything figured out. You simply need inner alignment. That is all. When your thoughts stop contradicting your action, when your actions stop betraying your values, when your values reflect something deeper than fear or survival, purpose becomes a byproduct, and the journey never ends. Another modern lie is that fulfillment is a destination, a moment when you finally arrive and uncertainty disappears. In reality, growth unfolds in spirals. You return to the same questions again and again, each time from a higher vantage point. Each cycle strips away another illusion. Each descent carries more wisdom on the return. So if you feel lost right now, if the old answers don't work anymore, if you sense something deeper calling you, even if you can't name it, you're not broken. You're actually crossing a threshold humanity has crossed for thousands of years. The moment you stop resisting that feeling, the moment you listen instead of numbing it, the journey toward purpose begins, not out there, but within. As Jesus once said, the kingdom of God is within you, a reminder that your inner voyage is the truest one you will ever take, and Rumi reminds us, don't get lost in your thoughts. Be guided by your heart. If this message resonated with you, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. We've got many more deep dives ahead, and we'd love to recruit more spiritual shipmates to run our decks. Until next time, this is your esoteric Captain Aries Ezra, reminding you to keep sailing, keep searching, never stop asking questions, and most importantly, never stop being you. Fear not the murky, deep waters of truth. That's where the treasures of transformation lie. Peace and love, my spiritual shipmates. And if you're interested in more riveting, plank-worthy content, check out my Nautical surplus of videos here shown on the screen. Thank you for your love and support.